Stress. Somebody pays attention. How many have you paid attention to the stress management tips and tools? How to stress less? How's your stress level today? Good? Yeah, I think you're looking pretty good. I can tell pretty much. I do a personal assessment when you come for your Hokies, you know. So you're all looking pretty good. Are you feeling pretty good? Are you excited about 2015? Huh? 2015, right here, right? All right. Have you set special goals for yourself, special dreams for yourself? What are they? You want to share. What are you going to do better this year than you did last year? The key is to do a little bit better every day. It's the last chocolate chip cookie. Pete says he's going to start smoking and gain 25 pounds. Ouch! Qualifying new members, you have to live by the wellness package of Parkinson Place if you want to keep on keeping on in here. What goals have you set for yourselves? That's great. Yeah, that's really a good goal, isn't it? How many of you enjoy exercise? Do you? I don't. I flat out don't. All right. So I want you to really go to that. And so you can do a lot of little easy things like, you know, don't fight for the closest handicap slot that you can roll into the front door of Target and Publix. I've never seen anything like it. I avoid those handicap spots because they are brutal getting in there, all right? If you can walk, walk. If it's not raining, walk, okay? If you can, utilize the handicap slot. But, you know, you don't have to fight for the closest one, you know, the closest to the front door. You can take a little walk the aisle, all right? Take a nice walk around your home. Take a walk around your block, right? You know, fresh air and sunshine is an automatic mood elevator. Did you know this? No. 10 minutes in the sun, even if it's in a sunny window, will help you. It's a natural mood elevator. So try to get yourself outside. It's one of the big things that I could feel my mood and my energy and my everything going down. The 3 weeks I was in South Jersey because the weather was so cold. It was 20. I hated it. And you couldn't get outside spontaneously. You know, even just to run out and water a geranium or something. So you lose that. So in Florida you can do that. So you want to be in and out as much as possible. I encourage you to get out of the house once a day. You have an excuse Monday to Thursday. What is that excuse? Parkinson Place. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you're on your own, but don't sit home. All right? Okay. Pete, did you want to say something?
Yeah, one thing that I want to do more and focus on this year is getting my caretaker out on her own for a longer period of time. Take a day off, relax a little bit, get away from the stress of the house, and charge her batteries a little bit.
Well, that's a really great goal. You know, I thank you for saying that, Peter, because, you know, with Parkinson's disease, with any disease, anytime that anybody's living with a disease or disability, for whatever reason, all the spotlight goes on them. Have you noticed that? They have special needs, they need more attention, they need more care. You know, the kids call house dad, house mom, blah, 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 and it's kind of what about me for the caregivers many, many times. And caregiving is a selfless act of love, you know that, that's how I define it. But I encourage you, my Parkinson patients, to do exactly what Peter said and be proactive with the invitation for your caregiver to have a day or a half a day to themselves to do what they want and love to do. Because caregivers many times will give up what they love to do because they are focused and more dedicated to you. So I don't want you to be spoiled, all right? I don't want you to have a selfish attitude. I want you to say, okay, I'm fine. I got the ball game, or I got the book, or I got the computer, or whatever you're doing. And then you encourage your caregiver to go on out and about to do what they want to do. How many of you are doing that, my Parkinson patients? Great, I'm proud of you for that. I want, whether it's hit a bucket of balls or, go to the journal club or whatever, it's really very, very important. Everybody needs time to recover and to refresh. Everybody needs time alone. I always say, how can I miss you if you're with me 24/7? I can't, right? But get away from me so I can really miss you. Give you twice as many kisses. Think you're twice as pretty when I see you the next time. It's common sense, but sometimes we forget to do it. Okay? All right. Topic today, who knows it? Thank you. I test them, and I only have one person out of 50 that can say, no, I can talk about whatever I want. If somebody doesn't give me the right answer, I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Today's topic is how to keep talking when no one wants to listen. For my new people, I give cute little titles to a lot of my talks, just so it's not boring for you, to encourage you to come and listen. What's so important about communication? What is communication?
Sharing of ideas.
Sharing of ideas, very well said. What else? Interaction, very well said. What's the difference between talking and communication?
Listening.
Listening is huge. Another tough one, all right? Communication, whether you're educating or informing, right, is to get what's inside of me correctly and inside of you. You understand me? I can talk you into next Tuesday, I'm good at it, and tell you absolutely nothing that matters, right? But communication is transferring valuable information, verbiage, ideas, thoughts, emotions, feelings, from me into you. And that is a difficult feat. Do you know why? Because most of the things that you're trying to communicate is an intangible, right? What are some of the things that you communicate to your loved one? Give me an example. Say you have something in here that you want to talk about. The odds are it's a feeling, right? Anytime you want to disagree with me, jump in, all right? But most often it's a feeling. It's something you got going on inside of you that you really need your loved one, your caregiver, your child, your parent, something, to really get it because it matters to you. So there's a need to get it out. Now, communication is difficult because you have to, number one, think about what you're going to say, right? Think about what you're going to say. And then you have to put it in a dialogue that's nice, dignified, refined, right? Because the minute you raise your voice, the minute you yell, the minute you get dictatorial, the minute you get hateful, you forget about it. You might as well just hush on up because you're not going to communicate with that tone or that disposition. Okay? So the basic thing is communication takes a lot of energy. And it takes time. And energy is something that many times Parkinson patients don't have. The other thing Parkinson patients many times don't have is the ability to really clearly articulate their feelings. Am I right? How many of you feel that your level of communication, I'm looking at Bob wondering where Joyce is. She's over here, all right? I have to sit here, I'm talking, but I'm making sure both of you are in here somewhere.
I keep it late.
So lots of times with Parkinson's disease, your level of communication, your dialogue one to the other declines. Have you noticed that? And it's a shame because communication, the ability to transfer feelings, needs, is a huge amount of glue that holds a relationship together. At least I feel that way. Right? Positive, constructive, kind, meaningful communication is the glue that holds you together. So with Parkinson's disease, many times it's very, very difficult to clearly capture in your head, what am I thinking and how do I get it out? Have you Parkinson patients realize that? Or have you caregivers realize that your loved one now with Parkinson's disease is declining with the amount of conversation that you have or the amount of speaking that is going on? You notice that?
Yes.
Okay. Now please understand that if your loved one was not a big talker before, the odds are they're not going to be a big talker now. Right? So always take a look at what we call the premorbid personality. Some people are talkers. You know, I'll talk to a total stranger. I don't care if you know me, like me, or even care what I'm saying. If I gotta get something out, I'm going to talk to you, right? I do it all the time. But if you have a personality that you're living with and loving with and taking care of that was never a big talker, not for chit-chat, not for conversation, not for conversation that really doesn't matter, it's not going to change now. But why is it so important to share your feelings? Let's talk about this. What are some of the things that you are feeling? You have to understand that you have this beautiful relationship, the patient and the caregiver, and then the extended family and the healthcare professionals. But the greatest thing that you have is your beautiful, meaningful relationship with your primary caregiver, your husband or your wife or your best friend or your child or your sibling or whatever you got going on. All right? Why is it so important that you continue to communicate? Why is it so important for both of you to share your feelings?
Circumstances change.
Circumstances change. Would you want to elaborate on that? There's no wrong answer, so just throw it out there because I'm only here to facilitate you. I want you to teach each other. I want you to talk to each other. Less talk from me, more talk from you. What do you mean by that? Circumstances change.
Well, your capability if you're the patient, and probably your capability if you're the caregiver as well.
Mm-hmm.
Your emotional level, some up days, down days, how you're reacting to your meds.
Right. It's really what I refer to as it's an emotional roller coaster, isn't it? Because you have the mental, the emotional side to it, and then you have the physical side to the disease, how you're doing with your meds, how you're doing with your function. It's going to kick in and influence the way that you're feeling anyway. But a lot of times, the feelings that are going on with Parkinson's disease, like what? What are some of the things that are inside of you that you would feel better if you got out? What are some of your feelings going on? Come on, think. Come on. Frustration, you're frustrated. This is not a pretty disease. This is not an easy disease. This is tough. This is 25/8 from now until eternity, right? You're carrying a big load. You're carrying a big burden. You're facing challenges from the minute you wake up and brush your teeth till the minute you pop in under the covers at night. You've got a huge challenge that you face every day. You're frustrated with it, all right? You're stuck with something. There's nothing you can do about it, right? That would frustrate me. We talked about coping skills with frustration. Pete?
Well, we sort of have a double indemnity here. Not only are we dealing with Parkinson's, but we're dealing with getting older at the same time.
Is that right? Did you hear that? You can't blame Parkinson's on everything because I'm taking a look around here and anybody here under 65? I hate you. But still, we're over the 50. What's the cutoff now for a sensational senior? 50, 55? What is it? Help me with this.
Depends on the day.
Huh?
Depends on the day.
Okay. But you're right. We're what I call sensational seniors. I call it better with age. We're fabulous, terrific, smart, you know. accomplish. Wise. That's us, all right? But a lot of times with the aging process, and the aging process is nothing more than wearing out. It's not deteriorating. I had somebody said to me, I'm deteriorating. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't think so. Maybe we're wearing out a little bit, but we're not deteriorating, all right? Like the Wicked Witch from the West when they threw water on her. I'm wilting, I'm wilting. That's not us, right? We just have wear and tear on our joints and on our body and on our skin and on everything. And that's why things are a little bit more difficult. We're a little bit slower. So you add that on to the fact that you have Parkinson's disease, which definitely affects function, strength, endurance, balance, everything that you're doing. So you are going to have to realize that your capabilities are going to be changed. And that's not making you real happy, isn't it? All right, what are some of the other things that you're thinking? Spit it out in a hurry. What are some of the emotions associated with Parkinson's disease for patients and caregivers? Throw them out to me.
Grieving.
You grieve,
Frustration.
frustration, depression,
Anger.
anger is a big one. All right, you're grieving, loneliness, a big one. Are these happy, Bill? Is this good stuff? This is the hard stuff, all right? Grieving is true. It's not like grieving the loss of, I'm grieving, I lost my mother. I'm grieving, but I know I'll heal. I know she's happy in heaven, all right? Grieving, when you grieve with a chronic progressive disease, is you grieve because you're witnessing the constant changes and the losses that your sweet loved one is experiencing every day of their life. Am I right? You are grieving what you think they should be today. You notice that? What you think your loved one, your husband or your wife, should be today. It has nothing to do with what you think. All right? So give that up as well. All right? You have to help to realize there are changes, there are losses. I always say, if you haven't got it, you don't need it. Get on with it. Focus on what you do have. What you do grieve sometimes, and a big grieve, is the ability to continue to communicate. The ability to go to your loved one and say, for heaven's sake, you do it, I don't feel like it. All right? The ability to talk to and get good advice from, or to counsel, or to gain help and strength. You grieve that loss, and it's real. Okay? Anger is, and most psychologists will agree with me, and I don't profess to be a psychologist, I'm not, but anger to me is the most dangerous of all the emotions, because anger can breed. Anger can really breed and really get the best of you and really impose on your ability to cope and to live and to stay positive. So anger, if you're angry with an original diagnosis, some people are angry. It's very, very hard to graciously accept something that is hurtful and painful, right? How many of you say, oh, yippee-do. Lucky me, what have I done right? I have Parkinson's disease. How many of you caregivers stood in line and say, pick me, I want to be a caregiver. You know, I want to do for him, love for him, take care of her from now until whenever, okay? This is not all happyville stuff, all right? But you have to find a way to accept. If you are really angry, you're not in a good place in your mind and in your heart. It's not a good place to be. If you can't deal with your anger effectively, then you need to see me or you need to see a professional to get the right referral. All right? You need to work through the anger, because the anger will bury all the good stuff alive. Okay? What else did I hear out there? Anger, loneliness. Did I hear loneliness?
Embarrassment.
Embarrassment. There's a humble man that's going to say to me, I'm embarrassed. All right?
Embarrassment to be in a position.
Turn around, sweet boy. Sweetheart, my sweet friend.
Sometimes we're in a position where we love to hear people like Marilyn. We love the wonderful people that we went and helped. The acquainted with at the tables, we love the classes we have, and yet we have to, because we're due to meet some people at the airport, we have to say, excuse me. We're embarrassed. We have to, with caregiver in hand, we say, thank you all for sharing this wonderful time with you all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, my sweetie. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. There's absolutely no reason for you to feel embarrassed ever, 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 no matter where you are in the public or the private arena. Do you hear me? There is no reason to be embarrassed. And I know that many of the side effects of Parkinson's disease, they're not pretty all the time, are they? You know, with your tremor and your shuffled gait and you know, your slowness, your freezing. Many of the symptoms, you know, we can't hide them so well. But you should never, ever, ever be ashamed or embarrassed about yourself. You're a wonderful human being. You have Parkinson's disease, and I want you to stand tall, because I can't really understand or validate why you have Parkinson's, but I think any of us, when we get out into the public forum, you need to stand tall and witness for the disease and tell people, I have Parkinson's disease, all right, so that we can help with awareness and the understanding. Always remember, you are the exact same unique, extraordinary human being that you have always been. You just are living now with Parkinson's. This disease, none of the diseases, and I've done them all in 50 years. There's not a disease, there's not a disability, there is nothing that can rob you of your respect, your esteem, your dignity, unless you let it. Are you hearing me? I mean, nobody else can make me feel bad unless I let you. Nobody can make me feel poorly about myself or ashamed of myself or embarrassed about myself unless I let you. So don't let the world at large have an impact like this on you. And be proud of yourself. You're extraordinary. So instead of focusing on, come on in, honey. Come in, welcome. Instead of focusing on, well, I'm freezing, or, you know, it's taking me twice as long to get to the gate, I can't stand getting in line. I can't stand to fly anymore. You know, I'm to the point now, I'm such a brat, I sit there and I wait till everybody else is on. I don't even look what zone I'm in, right? Because they're pushing and shoving and hitting you on the head with your bag and everything else, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be in a hurry. You don't have to look like everybody else. You're handsome and you're beautiful and you're smart and you're accomplished and you're extraordinary, just the way you are. And if the rest of the world doesn't agree with you, then with them.
You know, we find that the public is very kind.
Yes.
We go somewhere and they open doors for us.
Yes.
You do so much.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how the reception we get.
Yeah, and it's the body language that you use too. You can really take advantage of this, you know. Get yourself to Disney World if you think I'm teasing you, all right?
They offer seats to her, they open doors.
Yeah, but Joyce has always got a big smile on her face, you know, and a big fat thank you. You know, I always say you get from the world exactly what you put out there. You go around like a sourpuss, you know, doom and gloom, you know, negative, you know, sour grape. Just going, people are going, that's exactly what the world's going to get back. But if you go bopping around with a smile out there, they don't care if you're slow, they don't care if you have a tremor, they don't care if you're shuffle. You got a great face and you're smiling, and I think I want to help you out. But you're exactly right, Bob. The world is a good place. It gets a bum rap when you watch the evening news. But I think people at large that are at arm's length, at least I have found in my lifetime, are very kind, very compassionate. They will help
It
you.
doesn't matter how old they are. We found young
The kids.
people when we were at Barnes and Noble. It's almost like they fight each other to be able to hold the door open for
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
They were raised up right? That's a good story.
There's one other part to this. When people look quizzically, she tells them that she has Parkinson's.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to tell them.
And see, that's the other thing. A lot of times, you know, we misperceive the facial expressions from other people. You know what I'm saying? They look at you a little funny, they look a little longer, a fraction of a second. You know, they might love your earrings, ladies. Right? Or your luggage. But automatically, no, they're staring at me. You know, they know I'm different. You take the proactive approach and say, good morning, how are you? I have Parkinson's disease. Make it a great day. Done. Because people don't know what to say. And it's not that they don't honor you or respect you. They're ignorant in the word not being stupid, but unaware of what's appropriate to say for you. That's the way I use the word ignorant. They're ignorant. They're not aware of what's going on with you. They don't know what you're looking at, what they're looking at. And we all know anything that's not normal, we tend to look extra at, right? So make sure you always look good, all right? And take advantage of making new friends and smiling and saying, I have Parkinson's disease. Thanks so much for helping me with the door. Or I'll take that seat because that's the best seat in the house. Okay? Take them.
I had a very interesting time. We were at Casey Key Fish House, and I had to meet two couples. Well, Merlin was with me too, obviously. That particular day, he really wasn't walking too well. I got him out of the car, and we got to the tiki place that, you know, where everybody is. And we're waiting for the other couples to come. But meanwhile, I got him across the street, got him almost there. I'm trying to get him up the steps. There's 2 steps, wide apart. And I said to him, you're gonna help me lift you. And within a second, there's a guy right there, he's picking him up. So then I said, oh, thank you. I said, he has Parkinson's disease and he just, you know, can't move right now. Not a problem. So anyways, he brought him up, and another girl from another group went immediately, got him a chair, sat him down. So then we were there, and come to find out we were supposed to be in the restaurant instead of the tiki hut. So I said to him, I'm gonna have to get you up. And within a second, the same guy
Your
came.
A-team.
And another one comes. And they, you know, pick him up, and they pick him down the stairs, and they start walking to him. And the guy said to me, anything else I can do for you?
Did you have fun, Erwin?
Yeah,
Yeah?
he did.
Yeah? There
But
you
you know, from
go.
nowhere, I didn't know these people.
See that? That's
They
a
were
that's
just
a good
nice.
story. I'm happy to hear that. And the other lesson to be learned here, please don't stay home. Please don't stay home. Get out. Go to your favorite restaurants. Go to the theater. Go to the opera. Go to the movies. Go to church. Go everywhere. All right. Don't stay home. One of the worst things you can do is stay home. And you got lucky. Did you get their cards and whatever?
They were just
And don't
nice.
be afraid. You know, somebody's not paying attention to you. Just say, could you please give me a hand? I just need you for a second. You know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Just go home and say, you know, you just give me a hand, get my husband the other. Because a lot of times people aren't paying attention. But that's a really good advertisement
Yeah.
for the Fish House, right?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah, I know, that's a good
Excellent.
place, huh? Okay, so now let's go back to communication. It's very, very, very important, my friends, that you communicate. And communication about happy things is really easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of flows off your tongue. I'm having a great day. I just bought a Porsche. I just got a raise. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. That's easy. You don't have to think about it. But communicating the more difficult things takes a lot more energy. And you've already shared with me some of the negative things that you're feeling. Now, it's very, very important for patients and caregivers, okay, to get any negative feelings that are working on you inside. You know what I'm saying? When you're starting to feel a little bit more frustrated, a little bit more angry, a little bit more discontent. Negativity starts building up inside of you. And you're getting a daily double dose, some days, better than others, of negativity. Am I right? Some days you really get whacked. And it's not a normal dose, it's a double dose, all right? So what happens if you keep putting in all these negative feelings and pushing them down, 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 down?
Something explodes.
Something big explodes, all right? I use the example of the shaken bottle of soda. You know what I'm saying? I inevitably roll it out of the car, or the bag breaks so it goes plop in the driveway, and then I know not to open it right away because what happens? Right. You shake up a soda bottle and then you take the cap off and it explodes, you got a mess. Right? But if you let the fizz out, if you let the emotions out a little at a time, they're not going to compress, suppress, and really pack you up tight. You see what I'm saying? So that when somebody says the slightest, littlest, dumbest thing, you explode. Because that emotional level is horrible for you. It's horrible to explode emotionally. It's horrible for your state of mind, for your stress, for your tranquility. And it's even tenfold worse to the person that you're exploding onto, which is usually the person at arm's length, which is usually who?
You.
Your caregiver, right? Or your loved one. And your role, you see, is to make a positive, a good contribution to their life. And if you explode, words can be very harmful. We all know that. Am I right? And the bottom line is, no matter how you cut it, you can't unring the bell. Am I right? There's something about those words when they go shooting out there. And when I say you can't unring the bell, you can apologize sincerely with some real good, valid excuses. All right? But the best solution is not to throw words out there in an act of, not rage, but emotional torment. So the thing is, every time that you have a negative feeling, you're better off during the course of the day, or course of every other day, to talk about it, right? And set a time and say, honey, I want to talk to you. Now you got to pick a time. Don't pick a time when he's watching his favorite football game. All right? Don't pick a time when she's in the middle of her favorite book. All right? You simply say, I got something on my mind here. Or when she's cooking dinner. Or when you know darn well the timing is terrible. Right? So you can say, you know what, honey? I got something on my mind and I just want to have a little chit chat. You don't have to give in hot and heavy, hard. All right? And you sit down and you say, you know what, I have this on my mind. I can be anything. Can be, you know what, I'm starting to wear down a little bit. What can we do to make it easier? What can you do to help me? You're doing this. You're probably not aware that you're even doing that. But can we maybe try not to do that so much? You know what I'm saying? Things like lots of times patients will call your name 100 times a day. It's not in every household, but I've seen it 100 times. All right? Mary, Mary, Mary. All right? Call your name 100 times a day. It is maddening. I had daddy that did it. Every 15 minutes, every 10 minutes, he called my mother's name. And finally I said, no, you know what? Here's the deal. You have everything that you need right here. All right? So do behavior modification. All right? So when you talk to somebody about an issue, it would be, you know what? You're calling my name every 5 minutes. It's driving me crazy. Let me get you everything that you need so we don't have to do that. As opposed to, if you call me my name one more time, I'm running out the front door and you're never going to see me again. You see the difference? Because it's maddening, it can get to that point. All right? And you want to come into a conversation sharing feelings on a negative note. I usually will come in, I love you, but. Anybody that knows Marilyn Tate, my kids, my grandchildren, probably even my staff. I love you, but that's a lead-in, right? I love you, I care about you, I want to have a nice conversation with you, but there's something really bugging me, right? Works like a charm, all right? But don't suppress all of your feelings, talk about it. Sometimes with the Parkinson patients, you know, when you really can try to determine somebody else's mood, it's real easy because they have a body language, they have facial expression, am I right? I mean, you look with somebody that doesn't have Parkinson's disease, and you can tell by their facial expression, by their body language, by the bounce in their step, by the tone of their voice. Am I right so far? The mood that they're in, the emotional level that they're in. Well, a lot of these things with Parkinson's disease are affected. The masked face. You don't smile as much. You don't blink as much. Why? The muscles are impaired. They're sometimes stiff, they're sometimes weak. So your ability to smile spontaneously isn't there. So you have more of a flat affect on your face. It doesn't mean that you're apathetic. It doesn't mean that you're not listening. It doesn't mean that I don't care what you're talking about, lady, okay? It means that you just are not expressing clear emotions from your face. Have you noticed that, caregivers and patients? Let me teach you something. Don't ever assume to know what somebody else is thinking. It's a big mistake. The only way that you can validate what somebody else is thinking truly is for them to what? Tell you. All right? So the masked face, they don't blink quite as much. So you can't automatically assume they're happy, they're sad, they're tired, they're angry, they're whatever. All right? In addition to that, the ability for the Parkinson patient to articulate because of the what? The voice. You notice what? The voice gets a little lower. All right? What do you use to breathe? What do you use down here to the diaphragm to blow that air out? The air's coming up from healthy lungs and a diaphragm that's pushing it and you're breathing it. No, the breath is what's making the sound come out, right? All right, so that can be impaired. It gets weak. That's why we do deep breathing with Mary and with Phyllis. All right, the ability to articulate the words. You notice that? What do you use to speak? Tongue, lips, jaw. What are they all regulated by? Muscle. All right. Every patient that's a member of Parkinson Place needs to participate in voice aerobics and singing in the park when we do it in season. Because speech and swallowing is almost always affected, and I'm a real believer in intervention and prevention. I would rather keep you with a nice strong voice, you know, singing and screaming and whatever else goes on in here, all right, your voice exercises. It's better to keep you strong than to let you get weak and soft and inability to continue to speak, right? It's better to stay strong and healthy than it is to get weak and sick and then get you back up here. Are you clear? So every Wednesday, voice aerobics with Mary, followed by singing in the park with Phyllis Lowett and Saul Lowett, who are lovely people. And you just sing, but you breathe. It's wonderful. I just love it. It's just wonderful. And that's the only class the caregivers get off the hook. You don't really need it unless you want to yell at them any louder than you're already yelling at them. So the caregivers are in there with me every Wednesday, 10 to 11. Okay? Okay? And the hardest thing is sometimes for Parkinson patients is the ability to really get their thought in mind, your sentence structured, and have the energy to really talk about it. It takes energy to communicate, all right? It takes energy. And my caregivers, lots of times, you'll keep still so you don't rock the boat, right? You just say, well, it's driving me crazy, but I don't want to make waves. So I would say pick your battles. Is it big enough to matter, small enough to win? all right? If it's something that you really need to have fixed at home or between the relationship, all right, then I want you to put it on the table and talk about it. If it's something stupid, get over it. I always say to myself, is this going to matter to me next week? If the answer is no, I'm like, over the fence. I got more important things to think about. Okay? Always roll into the positive. I always say, you know, if your mind is full of positive thoughts, when negativity knocks, it can't get in. With me? All right? No matter how thin you slice it, you can flip it over. All right? So don't get totally focused on the negativity that's going down with Parkinson's disease. Now, communication needs to be beautiful and affirmative. So, what are some of the nice things we could be saying? I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
Can I
Your
help
voice is
with
nice
that?
and soft.
Can I help with that? What'd you say?
Your voice is nice and soft.
Your voice is nice and soft. I'm loving it. Yeah, you know, we're in this world to build people up and to help people and to affirm people. You know, we all have those emotions that make us nuts. All right, every once in a while I have to say, calm down, Marilyn, you know, just knock it off, all right? But you want to make other people happy and to feel better about themselves. And with Parkinson's disease, we want to, between patient and caregiver, friend to friend, family to family, our role in life is to bring people up, to love them, to affirm them, to help them to feel better, to help them to be happy, to help them to be encouraged. Our role, if you have somebody in your life and you love them and care about them, is not to knock them down and make them feel horrible. Am I right? All right. So flip over. You're driving me nuts to. You're driving me nuts, but I love you driving me nuts. Okay? And load it on with, don't let any opportunity pass that you don't say thank you very much, or I appreciate you. I love you. I love you is great. What's my favorite statement?
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Somebody listens. I'm proud of you. It's the greatest affirmation I think that there can be out there. Even when you don't think you're doing so good, even though you're fumbling and faltering and failing maybe, somebody says I'm so proud of you. It's just an automatic lift that somebody in your life notices. They see you doing well and they care enough to give you an accolade. All right? So keep talking when no one wants to listen. If you're dealing with someone with any level of dementia or inability to relate to you or to speak in an appropriate manner back to you or to give you the answers that you want, right, or the response that you want, you continue to speak anyway. Because number one, it's getting the feelings, the thoughts, the everything out of you. You're sharing it with your loved one. And I've always been a believer it's going in. It might not be coming out just right, but it's going in. So even if you're living and loving somebody with memory loss, some dementia, all right, some cognitive issues, you continue to speak exactly to them as you would as everything, as if everything, as if you weren't dealing with those issues. Same tone, same dialogue, same responses, okay? Because it's going in. Nobody can prove to us that it's not going in just because it's not coming back out again. So that's where I got my thing. Keep talking when nobody wants to listen. You can talk to the dog. You can talk to the parakeet. You can talk to anybody. Talk to yourself if need be. But the goal of communication is get the feelings out of you. All right? For resolution, as a way to stay positive, and as a way to make a positive contribution to somebody else. All right? What's the nonverbal communication? My very favorite. touch, nonverbal.
Nonverbal.
When there's nothing left to say, when you don't have the energy to say anything, when your loved one isn't able to respond to you, you know, just a pat, a hug, a kiss, or whatever. It's wonderful because for some reason, thoughts and feelings can just go skin to skin or hug to hug. So do that. All right? It's one thing I like about my job. I get 100 hugs a day. Did you know that? I do. I get 100 hugs a day. All right, did this help you? I hope it did.